you know, the first time you black out, it's real embarrassing. You know, you're like, oh no, you know. Your friends call you up the next day and they go, how you feeling today? And you're like, I don't know, I feel pretty good. A little hungover, but I feel good. They go, let me tell you what you told me last night. I'm like, dang, dude, don't tell me stuff like that. You know what I mean? But after a while, you get used to it, you know, and you kind of get tough to it. You wake up in the morning, you look at your phone, you see your text messages, and you go, well, I'll just delete these people from my life. Like, I don't know how that happened, but it'll be easier to make new friends and apologize for them. You know what I mean? You get tough to it, you know. You wake up in the morning, you go, hey, if they can't hang, they can't hang, you know. If you don't want to get kicked out of Dillard's in the daytime, that's your business, you know what I mean? Yeah, I want to do some shopping, but I got to do some drinking too, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to buy slacks out here sober. I used to drink and drive a lot. I'm not bragging about it. I was pretty good at it, but I'm not bragging about it. I'm not saying you should do it, you know, but in Tennessee, they say buzz driving is drunk driving. So if you're going to do it, get drunk, you know what I mean? I mean, I always say, if you can get arrested for 4 beers, why not have 14? You know what I mean? You only get 2 DUIs. Don't waste one on a buzz. That's what I've always said. You're going to be driving a moped for the next 2 years. Have a story about it. You know what I mean? But I'm not for drinking and driving, you know? But back when I was drinking, I quit like 10 years ago. And back when I was drinking, there was no Uber, no Lyft. Cabs weren't reliable, so if you wanted to drink, you had to just drive, you know? Like, sometimes we'd get a designated driver, but that didn't mean they weren't going to drink, you know? That just meant you had someone that was willing to risk it. That one friend with nothing to lose. He's like, hey, I don't even have a driver's license, you know? We can't get pulled over anyway. I never had a sober friend that was willing to drive me around that I wanted to hang out with. Like, I had friends that'd be like, I'll drive you, man. I'm like, nah, we're trying to have a good time. I don't need your sober eyes staring at me all night. I don't need someone hanging around that's gonna remember everything. You know what I mean? I know that guy's a bummer, because I'm that guy now. But I used to black out all the time, though. You ever wake up driving? You come to, you're like, dang, I'm driving. You're like, how'd I get this drunk? Where am I going? And I got a flat tire. I was like, dang, I hope that flat tire's new, you know? I'm not trying to buy a rim out here. I pulled into a parking lot. It was not even that late in the day. The sun had just gone down. People were still shopping. I'm out there changing a tire. I was so drunk. I was able to get the car jacked up. I got the one tire off, but I couldn't figure out how to get the spare on, you know? So I called AAA. That guy showed up. He was like, dang, you're drunk, man. I was like, yeah, normally I can change a tire. Plus, I'm pretty sure I called AAA, not AA, so... You know what I mean? You just want to get this tire changed, get me back on the road, man. I got somewhere to be. I don't know where right now, but I'll figure it out while you're changing this tire. So I took a trip with my wife one time. We took a little day trip. This is before we had kids. And we're driving along, and my wife asked me, we were going to Chattanooga. She goes, did you bring weed, you know? And I don't know why she asked me that, but I said no, right? I lied about it. I don't know why I lied. She doesn't really care that I had it, but I lied about it, and I just thought, you know what? Ease her of her worries that we have anything on us, and I'll be fine, you know? So we go to my sister's house, we're hanging out all day, and I'm going out to the car periodically, you know, doing a couple of drops, you know, like a real addict, and... But I think most of my family liked me better when I was an alcoholic anyway, you know what I mean? So they were enjoying it, you know? So I'm gonna go ahead and do a full tincture, you know, which is about 10 or 12 drops or so. We get in the car and we're driving. It's nighttime. We're having a good time. I'm listening to the first Kings of Leon album. We're jamming. And then all of a sudden it hits me, and it hits me hard. There's like a wave of kind of anxiety feeling that comes over me, and I'm like, ooh, maybe let's listen to a podcast or something like that, you know? Just kind of chill out on all this guitar here for a minute. And I can't tell my wife that I've done it, you know, because I told her that I didn't bring weed, you know? So if I tell her that I'm real high, now I have to confess that I brought weed. And I can drive and freak out, you know, but I can't drive, freak out, and fight with my wife, so. So I was like, I'm gonna pull over to this truck stop, you know, and I'll just walk around a little bit and you kind of mellow out. So I go in there and I start peeing, you know, in the bathroom. I don't just do it right in the truck stop. I go into the bathroom, I start peeing, and then I'm sitting, this is how high I am. I'm like, oh man, I've been peeing a long time. And it seems real loud, and I bet the truckers in here can hear me peeing, and I bet they're thinking, man, this guy's been peeing a long time. I bet he's on drugs. You know that symptom of a drug user, that symptom you hear all the time of peeing a long time. That's what they're always saying about people on weed, is how they pee a long time. That's how freaked out I am. So I get back in the car and I don't feel better. And we're driving through the mountains, and I'm a pretty aggressive driver. So when I'm cautious, my wife's like, what's going on with you? And I decided in the car ride, I say, you know, if we make it home, I'll tell her what happened. You know, I'll confess. But if we don't make it, no need to bring it up. You know what I mean?